A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India continues to strengthen its global trade presence with progressive initiatives like the India-EFTA Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement. This ambitious pact goes beyond traditional trade, focusing on market access, investment promotion and job creation. It covers goods, services, intellectual property and sustainable development, aiming to attract significant foreign direct investment and generate substantial employment opportunities. Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement reflects India's strategic vision to deepen economic ties and boost growth through modern, comprehensive trade partnerships.
India is rapidly broadening its global trade horizons through dynamic and strategic partnerships. Following the success of free trade agreements with Australia and the UAE, India is now strengthening its economic ties with Europe through a landmark deal with European Free Trade Association or EFTA, which comprises Switzerland, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. The India-EFTA Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, which came into effect on October 1st, is the culmination of nearly 16 years of negotiations and marks a significant milestone in India's trade diplomacy. This agreement is poised to enhance India's exports in key sectors such as textiles, leather and food products, while attracting substantial foreign investment to fuel economic growth.
After our successful free trade agreements with Australia, UAE, now the EFTA coming into operation from today, the United Kingdom, which was signed on 24th July and is in the process of ratification and will probably come into effect sometime next year, with the rapid progress being made in negotiations with the 27-nation European Union. Effectively, we would have covered all of the European countries with free trade agreements, giving access to Indian exporters, Indian industry, Indian service providers, and providing millions of jobs for our young men and women.
India and the European Free Trade Association have reached an agreement that extends beyond trade in goods and services, aiming to attract significant foreign direct investment and generate substantial employment opportunities. The pact is designed to draw $100 billion in investments into India over the next 15 years and create around 1 million jobs. While India has safeguarded sensitive sectors such as dairy, agriculture and coal, the agreement is expected to boost Swiss investments by reducing tariffs on a variety of exports, including chocolates, watches and machinery. India, with its large and rapidly growing economy, continues to be an attractive destination for European companies seeking alternatives to China amid ongoing global trade tensions. The pact also ensures protections for key domestic industries like pharmaceuticals and medical services, while maintaining existing duties on certain imports such as gold. The pact also offers India access to cutting-edge technologies from countries like Norway and Switzerland.
It's a very good day for Norway-India relations. The entering into force of the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement between EFTA and India opens up new doors for our companies. Already I can say that Norwegian companies have doubled, the number of Norwegian companies have doubled in the last 10 years, and so has the trade between Norway and India. And this trade agreement will mean that the interest is even more, and that the trade probably will double even more in the next 10 years. And maybe it will be even more than doubling.
I think EFTA is a path-breaking initiative which will be a game changer and a clear multiplier going forward, because countries like Norway, who have more than 90% of the new vehicles being electric, And in countries like Switzerland, where they have such a high technology base on semiconductor, battery energy storage and other energy storage technologies, power electronics, grid support systems, software, so which can be very well utilized for India's green energy journey of 500 gigawatt, where energy storage will play a very critical role. And today, if you see, all the new solar projects come with storage only. So there, I see a very good opportunity.
The agreement not only strengthens trade but also opens avenues for advanced technologies and sustainable growth, positioning India as a key destination for innovation and investment. The pact's potential has been widely welcomed as a beautiful synergy that benefits both India and its partners.
आपने देखा होगा इसमें एक सिग्निफिकेंट फीचर है, वो है कि $100 बिलियन इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा ओवर नेक्स्ट 15 इयर्स एंड उससे 1 मिलियन जॉब्स जो हैं वो क्रिएट होंगी. दिस इज सिग्निफिकेंट फॉर अस एंड आप देख रहे हैं कि जो उनके पास जो इन्वेस्टमेंट जो उनकी डीप पॉकेट्स हैं उससे उनको एक हमारे यहाँ मार्केट मिलेगी और हमको जो इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड जॉब्स मिलेंगी जो कि हमारे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो ये ब्यूटीफुल सिनर्जी है दोनों तरफ से.
The India-EFTA pact not only strengthens trade ties between India and the key European economies, but also significantly reinforces India's position as a global hub for investment and cutting-edge technology. This partnership will open new opportunities for businesses to expand and innovate while creating millions of jobs, ultimately paving the way for a more prosperous and inclusive future for workers and communities across the country.
Moving on. The human rights situation in Bangladesh has worsened sharply, with rising reports of disappearances, attacks on minorities and political repression. In response, members of the Awami League staged a protest in Geneva to draw global attention to these serious violations under the UNIS-led interim government. They demand accountability, calling for UNIS's resignation and highlighting the urgent need for international intervention to protect democracy, minority rights and restore stability in Bangladesh.
The human rights situation in Bangladesh has sharply deteriorated in recent months, drawing alarm from international observers and rights groups. Reports of disappearances and attacks on minorities have surged under the interim government led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. Political opposition figures and minority communities are said to be under increasing threat with allegations of arbitrary arrests and torture. Temples have been vandalized and incidents of religious violence are reportedly on the rise. The country's democratic institutions are widely viewed as weakened, with growing calls for international scrutiny. Against this backdrop, members of the Awami League held a protest at the Broken Chair Monument in Geneva during the 60th session of the UN Human Rights Council, aiming to bring global attention to the unfolding crisis. Protesters accused the UNIS government of serious human rights violations, including killings, rapes, enforced disappearances, arson, and filing false charges. They carried banners demanding Muhammad Yunus' resignation and the cancellation of his Nobel Peace Prize. Chants such as terrorist Yunus and step down Yunus were heard, while demonstrators also voiced support for Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the founding leader of Bangladesh.
Yunus government is, in my view, is completely illegal. He took state power by terrorist attack, and he is committing illegal things in Bangladesh, and there is a minority and a political opposition are arrested without any complaint. They are in jail without any complaint, and they are killing in the jail. For example, yesterday also our one minister, he was in the jail and he died, and we see the spot of torture on his body. So UNUS is committing and promoting the religious extremism in Bangladesh, so we want immediate resignation of illegal UNUS.
Recent reports from Bangladesh highlight a troubling rise in attacks on minority communities, including the vandalism of Hindu temples and idols. The security situation for religious minorities has deteriorated significantly, raising fears of targeted violence and persecution. Protesters claimed that the frequency and intensity of these incidents have reached alarming levels, demanding urgent international attention.
It is a very high rate in Bangladesh. Not only Hindus, other minority and free-thinking people also paying a very high price for this situation. They are killing every day, disappearing also every day.
The future of Bangladesh remains uncertain amid escalating political tensions and widespread unrest. Despite the current turmoil, the Awami League continues to recognize Sheikh Hasina as the legitimate and incumbent Prime Minister, reaffirming its commitment to her leadership. However, the political landscape is deeply divided, with opposition groups and critics increasingly challenging the government's authority and accusing it of undermining democratic principles. This persistent confrontation between ruling and opposition forces has created an environment of instability and unpredictability, raising concerns about the country's ability to maintain social cohesion and economic progress.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent. Fireworks lit up the night sky across India as the 10-day Hindu festival of Dussehra came to a vibrant close on October 2nd, marked by the dramatic burning of demon effigies. From Srinagar in the north to Patna in the east, spectators watched in awe as massive effigies of the demon king Ravan, his son Meghnad and his brother Kumbhkaran were set ablaze, accompanied by thunderous fireworks and cheers from the crowds. Dussehra, which celebrates the triumph of good over evil, also marks the conclusion of the Navratri festival. A suicide bombing outside the headquarters of a paramilitary force in Quetta, the capital of Balochistan, claimed the lives of at least 10 people. Following the explosion, several armed assailants launched an attack on the compound, sparking a gunfight with security personnel. Reports indicate the bomber was driving a pickup truck, and security forces later shot and killed 4 additional attackers. The powerful blast was felt across Model Town and nearby areas, shattering windows in both homes and businesses. Gunfire soon followed, causing widespread panic in the already sensitive area. The wounded and the dead were transported in Civil Hospital Quetta, where authorities declared a state of emergency. Iran held a ceremony in Tehran on October 2nd, marking the one-year anniversary since the assassination of former Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. A large crowd gathered at Imam Hussein Square in the Iranian capital, waving flags of the Lebanese militant group who have close ties to Iran's government. The situation in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is rapidly escalating, with mass protests and shutdowns highlighting deep-rooted frustration among the people. As the Joint Awami Action Committee leads a sustained movement for basic rights, the government's inaction and use of force have drawn sharp criticism. In Geneva, UK PNP leaders are raising the issue at the UN Human Rights Council, urging international intervention. The unrest is no longer a local issue. It's now under global scrutiny. Take a look.
A wave of shutdown strikes and mass protests is sweeping across Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir as public anger intensifies over the government's failure to act on the demands raised by the Joint Awami Action Committee. Demonstrations have surged in key areas such as Mirpur, Kotli and Muzaffarabad, where thousands have taken to the streets, united in their call for basic rights and relief from growing hardships. Over the past several days, tensions have escalated sharply, with several areas witnessing violent clashes between protesters and security forces. There have been reports of casualties and injuries during the confrontations, raising serious concerns about the government's response to peaceful dissent. The Jammu Kashmir Awami Action Committee has outlined a comprehensive set of demands calling for economic relief, greater political autonomy and improved governance in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. However, Islamabad has continued to ignore these demands entirely, showing little willingness to engage with the growing public outcry. As unrest continues, leaders of the United Kashmir People's National Party, currently in Geneva for the UN Human Rights Council session, have drawn international attention to the growing discontent in the region. They emphasized that the sustained mass mobilization under the Joint Awami Action Committee reflects unprecedented unity among the people in their fight for justice and dignity.
2 साल से आप कह सकते हैं कि वो एक ये तहरीक चला रहे हैं कि लोगों के जो बिजली और बेरोज़गारी और अशराफिया की जो अयाशियाँ हैं और फिर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल जो कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं इन सब के ख़ात्मे का मुतालबा कर रहे हैं और कई दफ़ा आज़ाद कश्मीर की कठपुतली हुकूमत ने उन मुतालबों को न सिर्फ जायज़ और दुरुस्त माना बल्कि ये वादा भी किया कि हम इस पे फौरी तौर पर अमल दरामद भी करेंगे, लेकिन वो हमेशा अपने अख्तियारात न होने का बहाना बना के तो चीज़ों को डिले करते रहे हैं.
The ongoing demonstrations have revealed deep-rooted frustration among the residents of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, who accuse the authorities of systematic neglect and exploitation. From soaring electricity tariffs and chronic power shortages to limited job opportunities and poor governance, people say they are no longer willing to remain silent in the face of continued injustice. Observers warn that if the government continues to suppress dissent rather than address the core issues, the crisis could deepen with further instability in the already volatile region.
No one believes on tall claims of Pakistan Foreign Office and their government, and practically they have been sabotaging, they have been pressing the freedom of assembly, speech, association and everything which comes under the legal and constitutional domain. So we demand that Pakistan must stop all these practices, ill practices in the name of constitution and in the name of their so-called presumably responsibilities that they have received under UNCIP. It is not the case that Pakistan has such responsibilities. Pakistan is lying with the international community and also with the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and during these protests and during these demands their so-called claims have been exposed in the broad daylight.
With the movement gaining momentum and discontent spreading across POJK, the message from the streets is clear. The people are no longer willing to tolerate Pakistan's hollow promises, coercive governance, and decades of systematic neglect.
In a fast-paced world, the Mysuru Rail Museum offers a chance to slow down and step back in time. It honors the incredible story of India's railways, the technology, the challenges, and the people behind the scenes. This museum is a living history lesson inspiring visitors of all ages to appreciate the past while imagining the future. Take a look.
In a world moving fast on digital rails and bullet speed journeys, there's a place where time slows down, where the clatter of old steam engines and stories from railway history come alive. Established in 1979 by Indian Railways, the Mysuru Railway Museum stands as a tribute to the rich legacy and evolution of rail transport in India. This heritage destination showcases an impressive collection of rare photographs, intricate models and vintage locomotives, each narrating a unique story from the past. One of the highlights here is the mini toy train, a battery-operated ride that circles the museum grounds. It's especially loved by children, offering a charming and nostalgic ride.
I like the Rail Museum very well. This was one of the best experiences in Mysore. It's very well maintained and it's very informative also. It was fun to get inside the trains and experience the train journey as it was long before. And the joy train ride was very cute.
The museum not only preserves history but continues to evolve. A major renovation in 2020 expanded the premises, adding new exhibits and more space for exploration.
The Mysuru Rail Museum was established in 1979. In 2020, this museum was renovated by expanding the area, and we added some more exhibits. So overall, it's about 3.1 acres, the area of this museum, and more than 1 lakh square feet. We have this lawn here.
Looking ahead, there is a strong focus on interactive learning. The museum is gearing up to introduce video guides that will help visitors understand the historical significance and functioning of vintage railway equipment on display.
हमारा म्यूज़ियम में काफ़ी और कुछ काम करने का भी प्लान है. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल जितनी चीज़ें म्यूज़ियम में हैं, पहले तो हमें एक्सप्लेन करना है कि पुराने टाइम में ये सारी गैजेट्स का यूज़ करने का मेथड क्या था. ब्लॉक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स होते थे, देखे होंगे आपने, गोला सा मिलता था पहले एक. अभी वहाँ पे रखा हुआ तो है, लेकिन लोगों को बताना है कैसे वो काम होता था. तो उसके लिए हर चीज़ के पास में वीडियो गाइड्स लगाने का प्लान है हमारा, ताकि उस पर पिक्चर आती रहे कि कैसे वो होता था.
As the wheels of progress roll forward, the Mysuru Railway Museum stands proudly as a bridge between the past and present, a place where stories of steam, steel and human ingenuity continue to inspire every generation.
At Mysuru Rail Museum, the voice of heritage comes alive. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.